What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have Tharpo, and we want to talk about the show must go on. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Scott King. I own a DJ company in Orlando, Florida, www.djsorlando.com if you want to check that out. I also have a coaching business, and I got my buddy here today, Tharpo, and he wants to talk a little bit about the show must go on. What do you mean by that?
Well, the show must go on no matter what, especially when you're a professional. Now, if you can't replace something that you already put out, then sometimes you have to do it, or you have to get that guy to do it no matter what. A lot of times I'm putting out myself where there's a hard sell on me to go, and because it's a gig, my gigs usually last 10 years. So I don't want to really replace myself. But the other thing is there's not very many people can do all the skills I do in my character, which probably hardly anybody will be able to do my character because I've been studying it 40 years. So sometimes you just have to endure whatever it takes. I've got lots of examples where I was so sick that I could hardly move, but I still had to go do the gig. Yesterday, for the last month or so, I have a pinched nerve in my back and it's been hurting my hand, but I have all these events I still have to do. Um, so sometimes you just have to buck it up and go and do what you need to do because the show must go on because it's your reputation. If you say you're going to be there, be there. Now, I'm not saying if you're going to die, go, but I'm going to say if you're not going to die, it's just going to give you a little pain and you're not going to feel so good. Go do your job because you're guaranteed, or I'm guaranteed, and my people are guaranteed. And, you know, what do you got to say about
So
that?
there's a little bit of an element here for those of you that don't know who Tharpo is. He's a clown, and he's a stage clown that goes by his own familiar name. So that's a little bit different than some people may be dealing with the DJ company. Some companies may be able to sell a DJ, and it doesn't matter what kind of DJ it is. Yet, if you're the owner of the company, which is something that I run into quite often, is that they want the owner. They want the person who built the company, so they want to put my name on the contract. And well, that could be good for you if you want to upcharge for that service, or if it could be bad for you if you have other things that you want to plan and organize, but you can't because you put your name on a certain specific event. So a lot of people may not understand that a clown or somebody who is a different type of performer than a DJ, they have certain skill set, and then being able to find somebody with that exact skill set is not something that you could replace because somebody would want to book you for the name, especially if you were like a big stage name DJ. I've had DJs in the past where I would promote them, market them, and they've never had that before. And then when someone would call me, I would show the video of that individual, and they would say, yes, I would like to go with him. So the problem ended up being that, people didn't realize how demanding that would be. And then they ended up, backing out because they never had that type of responsibility before or understood what that type of responsibility actually meant. And yet owning a company and being I don't know, a talent agent and having people stick to their word has been a little bit of a challenge of mine. And we're all learning and growing, and also emotional intelligence, understanding now that I've been through a few different situations, that I can explain this to the newbies that are coming in, that if they sold their likeness, then that means they are committed to the gig. And yes, there is a price that's attached to that as well, as long as they agree to whatever the price is. And Tharpo, his main thing is that he has a pain or some type of issue with his back that has a pinched nerve, and he still, because his name is on the line, will go through and do the shows that he said he would do because he backs up his contracts with what he says. He says what he means and does what he says. So that's basically how I look at it. And for me personally, I do the best that I can to make sure that it's always me if someone requests me. And at the same time, we do fulfill our shows, and it does become a little bit of a responsibility. And it's a constant effort to make sure that stuff happens.
Uh, like Scott was saying a second ago, that if you want to stay away from the issue of hiring somebody like a name, Tharpo, which is a brand. And if you want to stay, go to generic. Say, I put out DJs. And it doesn't matter what, if you just put out a generic DJ, then you can fill that with another DJ with the same skill set. Okay. The problem with like a similar like me, they have to have a lot of different skills because I'm a little all arounder. I do a little bit of everything, but and I don't have anyone with my personality, which if they've had you for 7 years in a row or 10 years in a row and they expect you, then they go, well, if you can't make it, then who do we get? And if you replace yourself, you might not even get that event back because uh, especially if you put somebody who's not very good there, they might just come back and say, I want Tharpo next time, or I don't want to do it, or something like that. But the generic is a way to get out of that. And also you can charge more for a specific. Yet the specific can't really get out of the gig, really. Not, I mean, unless they're pretty much dead.
Well, and also goes to show if somebody books you and puts your name on a flyer and puts your name on a billboard, then you better be there.
Right.
Like, if somebody else goes there, they're gonna feel like they got a bait and switch, or that what he can't hold his gigs, that kind of thing.
So if you do book a gig, just understand it's very, very important to show up whatever you sold the client. And if you do that enough where you don't do that, you're probably going to lose your client. And if it gets around too much that you're not keeping your word, your company will start getting clicks going down, 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 down. Always, 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 always do your best to be professional at every event.
Yeah, and if something comes up, you got to be as honest as possible. You want to be able to tell your client that this certain situation came up, if that ever does arise. And that was something that leads back to what Russell was saying. Russell Brunson is somebody that I follow and been to many of his speeches, and he said that when he was building ClickFunnels, that he actually failed with some of his clients because his servers went down or some technical difficulty. And instead of hiding around the fact, he actually came through and said, this is what happened. I will, refund you or reimburse you as we work through this issue. And because he was honest, he said he was able to grow twice as fast because the people that were following him or customers of his were built that trust because he was honest with what he was doing.
Yeah, trust is good. Very good. Um,
And plus, nobody's perfect. Things are going to happen as long as you own up to it. You'll be
right.
fine. You'll have to take whatever comes with it in the meantime, but at least at the end of the day, you can say, I was honest, and nobody's perfect. Things do happen. So keep that in mind as well.
That could be with equipment too. That's why we always ask people to have a backup to some of their mics and some of their equipment that and have extra cords if you're a DJ, have those extra things that can save your behind at an event. I'm going to give in one example that happened that which I endured again. I was a stilt walker for it was a 3 or 4 hour gig, and when I was putting on my stilts, I put them, I ripped my leg the wrong way and it tore my meniscus at that time, which it, my knee within like 10 minutes had double the size of my other knee. And I couldn't get on stilts. There wasn't any way I could do stilts. And I was Uncle Sam. so, so what I did is I always carry a backup. See, this is true. I carry several backups. I set up for a 6 hour show when I'm doing a 45-minute show. So I have 6 hours at least material that I can pull from. But this time I had a whole Uncle Sam costume on the ground. I always carry that in case something happens. And this time it did happen. So I had the pants and the shoes, red, white, and blue, and everything. But my leg, I couldn't even. So I used kind of like a walker kind of thing I had in the car. And my partner, we're jugglers. And so all night long I started doing an accent. Well, I'm 220 years old today, and I'm just and it's hard. It's very taxing here. And we would pass knives, torches around people, but I could hardly stand up. And I almost cry. I was almost crying inside. It hurt so bad. And then I did have surgery on my knee. A few weeks later because there was what that does. It cuts you. It puts a click in your knee when it tears your meniscus, and then what they go in is they use microsurgery and cut that little click off. But it go clunk clunk.
Well, on a lighter note, he had a backup. He was able to get through his gig. He still was able to continue with his company, and he did the best he could with what he had available to him. So just keep that in mind as you're building and growing whatever business that you have, so that you will be able to live another day. Fight the battle
Yeah.
another day. Well, basically, guys, that's all the time we have for the YouTube channel. Make sure to check us out, www.coachscottking.com. Tharpo here. And then now we're going to go join the Facebook group and share some information. All right. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.